Hi everyone, it's Sarah here with Create Life Paper Words, and as you can see, Sweet Girl Designs and I are doing another Instagram inspired. For this month, we are using Tracy Fox's gorgeous 12 by 12 scrapbook page from her Instagram account, Scrappy Like a Fox. So thank you very much, Tracy, for the inspiration for this. When I saw the inspiration piece, what I really liked about it was that there was the gorgeous wood grain, and also it had those pops of yellow and green in it. It's not generally two colors that I love, but I really liked how bright and striking the whole layout was. So those are what I'm really pulling out of this, the wood grain and then also the bright greens and yellows. So I'm going to warn you, this is a long one. I recorded it. Normally I record it in hyperlapse, which speeds it up for me, and I actually recorded it in real time. And so it's a little bit longer than it normally will be, and also I have an insert as well at the very end of this. It's really funny. Some weeks I feel like I have like a whole ton of photos like I did this week, and other weeks I'm scrambling to fit, 2 full pages. So when that happens, I usually have to do an insert when I have too many photos. At this point, I usually have all this stuff already laid out and everything for you. I did decide to go from the point of me trying to decide where things were going to go and what colors I was going to use and what cards I was going to use. So this is not usually something that I show when I do process videos, but I did decide I wanted to show it this time so you can see a full start to finish other than me choosing photos and that kind of stuff. So a lot of these cards, the journaling cards, are all things I've had in my stash. I think the rounded edges ones are ones from old Studio Calico kits that I've had and that I've just been holding on to. I don't use this color green or yellow very much in any of my stuff, so I'm pretty sure these have been sitting for a while. I also was feeling that I needed to bring a little bit more color in, and so while I normally wouldn't back a lot of the photos, I did decide to back most of the photos, or I guess some of the photos for this. Not all the photos are backed, but I just felt like that little extra pop of color around the outside of the photos would really tie the whole layout together. At least that's what my goal was, that this layout would be tied together. I really wanted to use these 2 pictures of the macarons that I had made this week. I made these cute little snowmen, and I think they had a lavender honey flavoring in them for the filling. And then I also made cookie dough and and ginger snap cookies as well. And so I was just feeling like I didn't want them as a full 6x4 photo, which is what I originally had planned to do. And so I ended up cutting them down, and I'm gonna cut them in half in a triangle so that you can still see what they are, but it's not like a big huge photo of them. And I feel like this works really well for this type of a photo when you just want like a little tiny bit of something, but you don't want a full size photo of it. So, and then I had found that green card, and it just had that perfect square. I'm just trying to decide if I want the snowman on the top or the other plain ones on the top, and I do end up going with the plain ones just because I really liked how it had both the brown colors in it, the top triangle piece as opposed to the bottom. And I was having troubles with my adhesive, my tape runner, this whole layout. It was really annoying me, so I have only been buying the dollar store tape runners lately just because I go through them so quickly that it seems like a waste of money to be paying for anything more than that. But I do tend to have some issues, so I guess that's something that I just have to put up with. Making sure, of course, that everything is cut down and how I want it to be. I always fix my stuff, and I notice this when I look back at a process video as I'm editing it, I notice how much that I actually have to straighten everything out. I don't know why I can't keep it messy when I'm creating. I have actually tried not to do that, but it doesn't work. It's just a habit. So yes, I have to fix it so that everything is straight and lined up. I think it does help make it easier for me to actually see what I'm working on if I do it that way. So originally my plan was to do this or that 6x4 in the top middle as that wood grain paper. That paper is from Stampin' Up, and I'm pretty sure you can still get it. It's a pack of 6. Sorry, it's a 6x6 pack, and I think it maybe has like 24 different pieces in it, and I really love it. I've used it quite a bit. But I was also wanting to go back to the inspiration piece as well, and I really liked how Tracy had done the top and the bottom, and then she'd sort of pulled the edges away a little bit, so it looks like it's sort of just peeking up. And so I really wanted to do the same thing, so I decided to do it on this card. Lately I feel like I haven't done a ton of filler cards. And so after I did that, I wasn't really sure where to go with it because I felt I needed something else on that card. So I do let it sit for a little bit, and I do sort of go back to it every so often. When I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with something, then I move to something I know what I'm going to do, where I knew that I wanted or I needed to back that one keep on making card. So just sort of depending on, I guess, really on where I'm at. Sometimes I know with a layout exactly where I'm going to go with it, and sometimes I really have no clue what the end result is going to be from when I start. I took another look at the challenge piece again, and I really love that there's the stripes in it, so I decided to find some stripe paper, and sadly I'm getting pretty low, so I'm going to have to pick up some more stripy paper pretty soon. It's one of my favorites to use, and just attach those there just to give it a little bit more dimension as well, and I really like how that looks. And then I'm just trying to decide what that bottom right 6x4 card is going to be. I do remember that I have this little mini Starbucks cup, and it was from one of my daughters. We had gone and got hot chocolate, and they both absolutely loved it. I did end up keeping one of the cups, and I did realize that I hadn't washed it quite well enough. It was a little bit filmy on the inside, so it was really hard to get any adhesive to stick to it. So I end up using my tiny attacher and stapling it, just because there was no way that adhesive was going to stick to it. My original thought was that I would just leave it as a 3x4 card, but then as I got moving stuff around, I decided that I wanted a little bit more black and white in the full layout, and so you will see me right here cut that card down, and we're going to make it, I'm going to put it on top of that white and black geometric card, and yeah, and I think I'm happy with that. It doesn't really matter. That's how it is, and that's how it's going to stay, so it's not a big deal. Now this card right here, this hello there one, I knew that I didn't want to leave it as a full card, just because it's going to go right beside the snowman macaron card, and I didn't want it to be too much green, like the green to overwhelm right there. So I did cut it down, and I'm going to put it over that white and blue 3x4 card. Now, I did decide to go with the white and blue just because there is a bit of blue in the inspiration piece. And I also have some blue in that card that's on the bottom middle with the triangles on it. That is something that I feel the colors are what I want, and so I felt I needed to add a bit of blue throughout the whole layout just to bring that card together a bit more and make it a bit more cohesive. So that is the reasoning for that. As I am starting to add like little labels and that kind of stuff, I do some journaling as well. So I will I will sort of read what I have. So for on that macaron card, it says Cookie Max and Snowmen for this week's Christmas sale. I participated in a trade show that week, so was busy on one of the days making those guys. And then it also leads to the photo right below it that I took with my timer on my phone, as I'm actually piping the filling onto, I think those were the vanilla ones that I did, or the sugar cookies, that's what it was. As I do that, I do realize that I need to bring a bit more black in, and I really loved the very bold black pop of the title on Tracy's inspiration piece, and so I did decide to go with some black thickers. I have 3 sets of different styles, and I could not make full words with either or any of them. So unfortunately, that's what happens with thickers and alphas and that kind of stuff. So I did a bunch of piecing together of, different letters that would work. I think all my A's were actually D's, and yeah. That's just how it gets. I get to the point where I wish that they were all the same font, but I also would really like to use up what I have before I buy anything else. So right now I'm just journaling that Colin and Rhett got back from their hockey tournament and promptly fell asleep on the couch. They had a very long day at Rhett's first hockey tournament of the year, and so they were super tired, and I thought it was just so cute how they were both just done out of it. I used one of the labels that I've had and cut out for, I guess it's been almost a year now, and I'm at the point where I'm going to have to make some more labels. These solid label colored ones, those are from Studio Calico, and I actually just bought another pack of them on their after Christmas sale that they had. I don't know if they called it Boxing Day sale or not, but that's when I got it. I think they were like $1.50 or something like that. And I really love labels. I find that that's my go-to lately. Paper, labels, and thickers, and my tiny attacher. That it seems like that's pretty much all that I need to do my Project Life spreads, and I'm pretty happy with that. For the journaling on that, I said sadly, I think I need to look to needing the fine lines, etc. And happy to use my birthday money on skincare. I'm getting old, haha. So yeah, just a little bit about my, feeling old. Not that I am old, but definitely feeling 33 and all those body things that you're like, oh, I'm going to miss all those. Nope, sorry. You turn 30 and I think you get those. So I'm just realizing that more and more that is inevitable, I guess. This week we actually painted my son's room, and we ended up turning it into my office. He and his sister have shared a room since we moved, and we keep trying to move one of them out, and they don't really like that. They just like having company, it seems. So I finally said, you know what, screw it. I'm tired of, having this room that we're not using, except of course, once every few months or so when someone comes to stay. And so, we just one Sunday morning woke up, said, okay, let's get this out of here and we'll turn it into my office. So the great thing is I have a brand new office, which I absolutely love. We did have to do some rearranging. I got another, well, it's not really a desk. I took one of the dressers, and it's a scrapbooking desk. And then I also have my other desk, and that's going to be for any of my bookkeeping stuff that I do. So the room is like crammed full already, but I'm really happy to have a little space all to myself again. I've had it before, and then in this house, and then we had Emmy and she took my room over, and then I was out in the living room, which is fine, but the kids definitely were encroaching on my space more than I wanted them to, thinking it was also their play area. And it's been really nice. They come in, but toys aren't allowed in here, so that's wonderful. I am doing some more journaling, just trying to, well, not, I guess not really journaling, I'm just writing on top of it. So it just says wine and Netflix equals heart. And I can't remember what kind of wine it was, but I'm pretty sure it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. I did end up changing that filler card that has the Making Max on it down to that bottom, just because I felt it flowed a little bit better with what was around it. And I also needed a little bit more white space at the top of that. And then I'm moving on to my insert right now. So my inserts tend to not have a lot of filler cards. They tend to be more full of photos, just because it's usually that I have extra photos I need to add in. And so I'm using this white pen. It's actually a marker, and I got it just at the dollar store actually. And it is, I'm just trying to find it to tell you what it was, and I can't find it. I quite like it. I've been having trouble with pens, and I keep thinking I need to buy the one that Ali Edwards recommends, the Posca one, but they didn't have prime shipping with it, and so I just keep putting it off. But I think I probably do need to get one of those. I just find that this one dries out a bit faster than I'd like it to. So, but it has a nice, it does come really nice out of it. It's more like I guess more like a felt marker, as opposed to a roller ball or anything like that. So and then if you followed really closely, you'll notice that I could not spell gymnastics properly, so I had to sneak an extra I in there and turn the I into a C. And this pen I love. It is a black pen. I got it from Studio Calco, and it's a permanent marker, and I absolutely love it. It's double-sided. The one side is like a fine point, and the other one is a thicker point, but it writes really, really nicely on photos. I'm really happy with that pen that I picked up right there. And wanting to keep it fairly simple with this insert, I do write on the one photo. It's really cute. I'm not sure if you can tell, but Emmy is actually taking a photo of Aubrey's pizza with what is my old phone, but is actually the kids use it as an iPod. And it is so funny because she loves photos so much, and she's just starting to pose whenever I say I'm taking a photo, and it's super cute. That's actually what she was doing in the photo beside it that I'm working on now with that yellow label on there. And she was posing as she was showing me her food. My dad makes an absolutely amazing pizza, homemade pizza, and so we always have pizza when he comes to visit us. And so she, of course, was really excited because she got to do the toppings on hers. All the kids got their own little tiny one, and she was so excited. She got to put her own toppings on, and it was absolutely adorable. Just trying to trim stuff down. And then I move on to the back side. At the top one there that I'm working on, my daughter learned how to play crib, which I think is just amazing. So she was playing with Wanda, and then on that below one, I am doing a little bit of a filler card there. I had run out of photos at that point, but it just says visit with Nono and Wanda, and I did again have to figure out all those thickers. I find that I can do a lot with some of them. Like A's are easy to make. There are some that are easy to make and some that are a lot harder to make. So what I use for the A actually is I end up using 2 upside down O's, and then I cut the X in half to make the little lines in that. So it's just, one of those things that's, you just got to figure out how to make it work, I guess. And it doesn't work for every single letter, but you can sort of get pretty close if you are patient enough to figure it out. Yeah, there I'm just putting those little tiny, I guess, bars in there for that. And then, yeah, so I've got Nono and Wanda. That's what my kids call my dad. And then I just write visit with that pen that marker that I love. And then at the top, I'm going to write crib time on there and just leave it at that. And then on the photos below that, I've got 2 of my oldest daughter. And as I don't notice it until later, after I get this done, that I actually have the wrong photo in there for Aubrey for this day. I specifically just wanted to record this day, so November 25th. And so I actually am going to, I have this one that I'm working on right now. I have this photo and I'm probably going to stick it somewhere else. Maybe I'll do like a little hidden journaling or something, because I did like what I had journaled about with her. But I do take it out, and then I'm just going to do a little filler journaling card in there as well after I realize that. And yeah, I start to put them in, and there we go. Oh yes, and I have to do that little tag. I absolutely love those index tabs that you can buy on AllieAdwords.com, and I have seen that she just came out with new ones of her own, and that's really great. So I'm gonna have to try those ones out. I use them a lot, and I don't think I have very many left. I definitely use them more in my smaller albums, like my 6x8 albums, than I do in my normal weekly 12x12 album. And as I was sticking none in there, I think that's when I realized that, oh yeah, that's the wrong photo. So, and I struggled with getting that little tab in. Yeah, some days. So now I'm going, okay, what am I going to do? I really wanted to bring more yellow into that side, just because it's going to really flow with the rest of the layout. And then I do a little bit of stamping, because I didn't do much stamping on this layout. So I got one of my little roller stamps that says family. So I do like the stamping off trick, where so it's got slightly lighter colors, and then I use some enamel dots, which I don't use very often anymore, but I have a whole stash of, so I really do need to get those used up and call that good. I think at this point I am done. So thank you so much for joining both Christy and I in this Instagram Inspired. I love how she took the exact same inspiration piece, and she really focused on all those squares, and I really love that. We have very similar colors this time, just because we are taking that inspiration from those. But yeah, I really love that hers is completely different than mine, and yet we use the same inspiration for it. As always, you can find me here on YouTube, and if you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to, or you can find me on Instagram at Create Life Paper Words. Bye guys!